like this could make it really fast, and it could be a no joke exit strategy to where we just like get out of the military and still be perfectly fine quality of life wise.
Welcome to the Best Hour of Their Day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez
and me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the Best Hour of Your Day.
Do you remember that conversation?
I do. I do.
We're at the Mastermind here in Nashville, actually,
yep.
right? We're sitting at the table. And I think I had just saw you out the night before. Like I always think it's cool whenever we're at an event, you guys like really make an effort to do a date night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do.
It's easy to just be like, oh, we'll go out. Like you always, because we're at that bar,
yeah,
and you guys were sitting together, and then I saw you the next day, and I was like, oh, is it like cool being away from and you're like, I love being around my kids. And I was like, when do I feel like that, right? Like, and again, 9 and 12, you got 2 boys, like, they're probably like, you can get home and wrestle with them, whatever, like plays basketball, but like, they're at a fun age, right?
Yeah.
They are. They're a very fun age. Very fun age.
And Kim, because he was, how long were you out of the house in the military?
Ooh, depends on the year.
I mean, like, not but like how long?
So I joined in 2010 and got out, December of 23. So
you'll do 7 more years?
I will, but it'll be 1 week in a month, and then some months we can skip depending on like the training environments and stuff. So that's when you'll see my beard grow out because it's 2 months long, and then I cut it. Yeah.
And then you'll be able to retire at the end of that?
Yeah, then I'll be able to retire.
Full pension?
Yeah. Well, it's based off of Guard's weird, like points and system.
But at least like healthcare and all that for life, that's cool.
Yeah, so all that stuff will be taken care of, so not super concerned about that anymore or anything, which is nice. Finally got my priorities in line on like, family.
That's not. I think this is a struggle that husbands go through, like, because I do as well. It's like you were out, first of all, serving the country, right, protecting our freedom. Like, so let's be clear, and that's helping the family. Because I feel the same way. I'm like, I'm gone, and I'm like, but I am like we're talking about microwave. It's like, this is what bought the microwave. Yeah. Like me working. Like, so I think it is hard at times for, I'm sure women, their wives that feel the same way, but I understand your sentiments, but it's not entirely true.
Yeah, because, just spent so much time away and got so wrapped around my job and my obligations within my job that I started realizing that was like, it was an imbalance. Yes, I love my kids. Yes, I loved being around Kimberly and all of that good stuff. And then when I was home, I tried to be home. But every year, I would be home but not mentally present. You know what I mean?
That's hard,
I would be home, and it's like, hey, let's go out and do this, and this. But like half the time, my watch would stay on because I was like a leader in the community. So it was just, anytime, no matter what I was doing, that watch go off because it's tied to your phone. You're like looking, it's just pulling me away from the moment. And it just got to a point where I was just like, I got home, I would take my watch off, take everything, and try to like completely go away. And then I would come back to it when they would go to bed, and it was like I would miss things. And then like, it just got to the point where I was like battling mental capacity with like being there for a father, being there for like the husband that I told her that I would be, and then, doing my obligation to, because we did join with the understanding that like this is going to be a commitment that we're both making.
When you say join, you mean
like when I joined,
military?
I was like, hey, this is going to obviously be like an obligation. There's
that was
things
early on in your marriage.
Exactly. Yeah, so we made that decision very prematurely, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, you were young. You were like 22.
I was 25 when I came in. I was already kind of done with college and stuff. So
did you get to go back as an officer?
Yeah, so I did enlisted first, and then I crossed over. And it wasn't really until I crossed over to the officer side in the special warfare community that it started to really like take more of my.
Well, you're an officer now.
Yeah,
right? I imagine it's.
Officer, but I think it's just the high-speed organization style, because it was like enlisted, conventional, Air Force. They call it the chair force, so it's not like a whole lot going on.
You're always standing.
I don't know.
In the meetings.
Yeah, now I am. And then you kind of cross that special warfare like threshold, and it's like you're expected to do more. Your obligations go up, right? And then you care about the people because, you know, you go downrange and you do what you do. And it's just like, I started realizing that I was taking care of other people's kids more than I was taking care of my own. And then so then I was like, yeah, it's
Do you
time.
see a difference?
Like then and now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to. I think, you know, we talked about it too, the transition whenever he got out or went guard. That was a big challenge for us, and that's what we talked about the last mastermind too, where it was like that's what we were battling. Not only was he coming back and being present at home, but he was coming back and being present in the business too. So it was like we got hit kind of like on both ends. It's like, okay, how do we get back to like a cohesive marriage, and how do we cohesively work together and run a business
Right,
together?
because there's some parts that were easier when it's like he's checked out, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My routine stayed the same with the boys. He would come home, or he would come home from training or come home from deployments, and it would be short-lived. He'd come home for like maybe a month, but then he'd have to go out again. So it was like during that month, it was a little hectic, you know, trying to integrate him back in, but he kind of still stayed and did his obligations at work, whether he was on the phone or whatever, and we just kind of continued on until he left again. So it was kind of that, you know, it was rough. And I think when the kids were younger, it wasn't highlighted as much because they didn't really, not that they didn't care, but they didn't voice it. Once they started to hit like 5, 6, 7 age, then when he would leave, then they would voice their opinions about how it makes them feel. And he was like, oh, my crushed.
And was that harder for you when he was gone with them? Because they were upset?
I don't know if it was harder for me. I think at that point I just kind of like accepted it. It was harder for me when they were younger because it was more demanding on me to make sure that they stayed entertained or make sure I had things to do with them. As they got older, they started to kind of entertain themselves, but the conversations got harder. But it wasn't conversations with me because I wasn't the one leaving. It was conversations with
It's hard,
him.
yeah. Even Madison at 3, she's like, she didn't say I don't want you to go, but I can tell. By the way, is your hair much longer these days?
It is.
Oh, that's your hair?
Yeah, that is my hair, yeah.
Because I remember
She
when,
gets asked that at the gym sometimes. Like, you got extensions? I'm
no,
like,
because
"You
when
got
I
one
remember
for
like when
extensions?"
we first had our calls, it was short.
I always have it up.
Shorter, yeah.
Yeah, I always have it up.
So you guys doing no screen time?
We
I told Roz about that when you guys told me. I was like,
Man.
Rickey and Kim went no screen time.
we're
But 9
we're
and 12 is
trying.
very
9 and
different.
12 is different, and it's more so with Cameron, the 9-year-old. He's glued to. As soon as he wakes up, he sets his alarm without us even knowing because he has like Alexa in his room. He sets it for like 30 minutes before we expect him to wake up,
Just so he can watch.
just so he can get on Xbox or watch something.
He's addicted. You have an addict
it's
right now.
bad.
Yeah, so we're like, all right,
So
So
what-
once we started noticing that he was sneaking around, like waking up extra early.
Don't come in here. What did you
Because they're upstairs, you know, and he
Yeah.
keeps his door shut. So, like, the way our house is configured, it's like they can pretty much get away with anything if their doors are closed and they're quiet.
And then
I'm
his
like,
day was ruined if like I shut off his, because I have the app, so I'll shut it off because I'll notice that he set it for like 6:45.
His Alexa, you mean?
Yeah, so I'll shut off his alarm and then I'll go up
So
and
when
I'll
he
wake
sleeps
him up.
late,
I'll wake him
he's
up at
mad.
7:30 and he's like, "What time is it?" And I'm like, "It's 7:30," and he's like, "Ugh."
I don't get to play.
Yeah.
What does he play? What do kids play?
dude, he plays
Pokemon?
Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Fortnite.
Fortnite.
But
yeah.
So did you attempt no screen time?
We've
We've reduced it.
Yeah,
We've
we've
reduced
reduced
it,
it.
so it's
Um,
good.
To what? Like, what are the rules?
So typically it's like an hour max, like at a time, and then before bed, like we're just like, hey, cut it off like early.
Yeah,
So,
and they're not allowed
yeah.
to like carry around their phones.
So your kids
anymore.
hate me?
No.
They've
no,
done it.
no, they don't.
We tell them
So,
specifically this is because Ackerman.
Yeah,
See that bobblehead over there?
yeah. Well, because they've seen us
He's the
like,
reason why.
yeah. Because we've been on calls with y'all, like either at the house or at the gym, and they'll walk by and give us hugs and be like, "Oh, is that him?" Like, yeah, that's him. That's the guy.
He's the one.
That's the guy.
It's your fault. So have you noticed a difference in their behavior?
Yeah, Cameron's still in that, you know, I don't know. He's in withdrawals more than likely. So
Madison went through it.
he is there, and I think it's just like we got to slowly keep taking it away versus like just a hard with him.
He went cold turkey.
He's emotional.
3
too.
is different. 3 is.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a little easier.
She doesn't ask for it anymore.
Yeah, that's
That's good. That's good.
I thought it was helping her, like, but she still has her days.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's less often. And it was also immediate. Like, the day she watched, she was worse.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of the TV itself because it's like having a bottle of tequila open around alcohol. It's like, there it is. There's
there
the
it
thing.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
But
just press the
yeah.
button.
I don't think she understands that. And I'm sure we haven't decided. Roz has taken them to England. And she's like,
nice.
probably on the plane. Like,
Yeah.
not Bodhi, but like for her, probably on the plane, she'll let her watch again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we'll
Yeah,
see.
if you can use it to like create some peace and some
I mean, it's
Stressful
but then
environments,
It's a long
Yeah.
flight.
yeah.
what was your how did you guys meet?
Ooh.
It shouldn't be a tough question.
No,
It's
it's not.
not.
It's not. It's just
We both-
very different from what you probably think.
We worked at
Tinder.
a motorcycle dealership.
Not Tinder.
No.
I've never had that on my phone. But anyways.
We both worked at a motorcycle dealership.
Selling motorcycles?
No, so I was a receptionist. I was kind of like front of house. So I like greeted people when they came in. I answered phones. I was like cashier, kind of did all of that
At, like,
thing.
was this Harley?
A
No.
Yamaha.
Yeah.
So we did all the lines, but yeah, Yamaha was a big one.
And then he was a service tech. He worked on them in the back.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah, that's
very
crazy.
first time I saw him, he was riding a four-wheeler around because once you like put it together, you have to test drive it. So that's what he was doing. So he rode it around. I'm sitting up at the front, and there's just like,
You're like, "Who is
all these
this?"
windows. I just see this bright orange hair,
No product.
products.
No product.
bright orange, and it's like in the sun, and it like passes by, and I'm
In
like,
your heart?
well, yes, but then like my initial thought was like, he must have lost a bet and had to dye his hair like that or something.
Oh,
because
is that orange?
And
It's
it
orange.
was super orange, and I was just like,
But did you know him?
no,
No.
So, like, was this your first day?
No, we just
we never crossed.
She
that.
worked
I was never in the
part-time.
back.
And you were in the back.
because she was in school, and I was in the back. She's leaving out the fact that her dad was the parts manager. So I
Have to
enter.
do with anything.
Well, that's
So,
a big deal if
it's
he's
a big
going to
deal.
ask you out.
So
yeah. He's
I
your
would
supervisor.
enter as a technician. We're always working with the parts department to get the parts we need to fix or whatever it is. So I knew Nick, like through that.
What's your maiden name?
Osborne.
So, Mr. Osborne?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I knew him through that, right, capacity, and I didn't know that she was his daughter originally.
You didn't put the Osborne thing together?
Well, I didn't even
You
know her
didn't know
last
my
name.
name?
I didn't know
Yeah.
her- Like we don't. It's like it's a in that realm. Like it's just separate.
Yeah,
It's front
yeah.
house, back house. Like
Don't
there's,
mingle.
There's not a lot of mingling, right? But anyways, after that, then. So that's how we kind of met each other and knew. And we would kind of have some interactions in the business after we kind of knew each other a little bit more.
That's the Jim and Pam story right
It's
here.
weird. And then I'm at UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio. She's going there too. Didn't know this, that we were in class together.
But you were
We're
in
in a big-
Texas?
Yeah. So we're in a big auditorium for the classes and stuff, right? And I'm in class all the time. And then I
never
see
went to
her
class.
walking. I see her walking down. And I'm like, this looks
That girl.
familiar. And I was like, wait a minute, I think that's Kim. I was like, she's in my class. We're halfway through the semester. It's
You
like
just
because
noticed.
she just never came to class.
Yeah.
She said I never went to class. So then once I realized that, it gave us an opportunity to talk to each other, like at work.
Flirt.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so that's
With
it.
band
What's this? So 13 years ago?
Ooh, that's like 2008, 2009.
So you
2009.
dated for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the first date?
Was it Chili's?
Chili's? You took her out
Yeah, it
somewhere
was
fancy
Chili's.
on the first. Hey,
Yeah.
you get anything.
Hey, it was right down the
anything
road
you
from the
want on this
school.
menu.
It was right down the road from UTSA on Days of Allah.
What do you
when I
call
attend.
it?
UTSA.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, University of Texas San Antonio.
And so you both graduated from there? It sounds like Kim might
No.
not have graduated.
No, no.
I did not.
No, she did not. She went back to school later on. So both have our degrees.
Where'd you go back to? Somewhere in Tennessee?
No, I went to an online
Yeah.
Okay.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, finished up there. So that's how we met. And then
You took her to Chili's.
yeah, and then we got together.
Bloomin'
Like,
Onion.
we
Share
were
a Bloomin'
dating for a little while. Then we got, I guess you can make it official, like sometime in 2009, and then married in late of 2010.
Some
Yeah.
normal timeline.
Yeah, it's good.
Did you
And then-
you wanted him to be like, we're official? Lock this redhead down?
Yeah. I never thought I'd date or let alone marry a redhead.
See, I don't know why that has
It
to be a
wasn't on
thing.
your
It
vision
was
board.
not on my vision board at all.
Archie up there?
No.
Yeah, didn't.
Wow. So Chili's was the spot.
Yeah.
Chili's was a spot. We sat in there was
You remember?
no, but we sat and talked in parking lots a lot.
A lot.
Because I wasn't living in San Antonio. My parents live in New Braunfels, which was like 30 minutes away from the university. So I was living with my parents, but in order to have more time with him, we'd stay in like a movie theater parking lot until like after midnight, and then I'd get in my car and go home.
Yeah, we'd go to the movies together. We'd come out and we'd just sit there.
Right, because you had nowhere to go in between.
Yeah, I didn't really need to
and
go
then it
anywhere
was
between.
late, and like everything else was closed.
Just talking and talking.
When do you tell Mr. Osborne, hey, you know that receptionist up there?
Like,
she's my girlfriend.
I can't I can't actually remember me ever asking him or telling him anything about it.
You get along well? Do they get along?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just showing up at his house to pick up his daughter was like the first time that was like.
Was he like?
We went to the rodeo.
Was he like, is a Yamaha broken? What are you doing here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You know, and then he quit working for them, which made
Because
it.
you started dating.
No,
He's like, I
so
cannot
at
be
first I was like, it's kind of a coincidence, but no, they just like he went a different route in career and stuff like that. So. Then it just made it like super easy because she quit working when he quit working for
What
her.
brought you to Tennessee then?
Military.
You got stationed?
Yeah, so my first assignment was in Alaska. So we were in Alaska for
you
a
went to
couple
Alaska?
years. That was actually.
Were you
pretty
there
good.
when it was all dark?
Him and I.
Oh yeah, it was both. We were there for 3 years. So,
So you hit. How long is it? Is it like 3 months all dark, 3 months all light, and then a middle?
So it's like half the year kind of. Like so summer solstice is like middle of the summer, somewhere around like June or July.
That's when
I
it
think
starts getting
22nd.
darker more.
You lose 7 minutes of daylight every day, all the way to like December 22nd,
December, it's
and then it switches.
But it's all dark that
All
day?
dark. So it's like you lose it all the way to where it's like 7 minutes of sunlight. Yeah,
Wow.
it's wild. And then like it just reverses after December 22nd.
Do you get
then it's like 7
seasonal
minutes of
affective
game.
disorder there?
So
a
I
lot.
don't
I don't
recall
remember.
ever doing that.
You were
which
like,
was
"That's
weird
not-"
because I was like, that's where we had Kaden, our oldest.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure like this was gonna be like the worst pregnancy, and I'm gonna be so like just depressed. And I wasn't. I feel like I get more seasonal depression in Tennessee than I did in Alaska. I'm like, I need a
Really?
happy
Yeah.
light in Tennessee.
You were 13 years younger as well, right? Like
very
that's
true.
probably part of it.
Yeah,
True.
that's true. That's true.
So you went. Where else were you stationed?
So we went from there. We went to back to San Antonio for a couple of years, and then we went out to Fort Campbell, and that's where we kind of set up shop for roots right there. I mean, it kind of grew on us for a little while. We're kind of close to Nashville, so we have an opportunity to do some
Tax
things.
free.
Yeah. Well, Texas is tax free too. So is Alaska. So
Oh, you were.
no matter where
yeah,
I
no,
was, yeah. So
you just gotta go to
we
Florida.
only go to tax free states. From there, we were here from 2017 to 22, and that's when we were like, "Hey, you're going to go to the Colorado Springs," and we're
So you
like,
were there briefly?
I was there for 2 years.
Oh yeah, that's right. When we first started.
Yeah, so they were like, "This is where you're gonna go next." I was like, "That's a pretty cool spot for us. Like, we should go to Colorado." You know, my brother was in Colorado Springs, so we are like, "Yeah, we'll go." And then just the whole gym thing came about, and we decided, I was like, "Well, this could be our extra strategy." And I was like, "It probably won't be an extra strategy considering like everything that was going on." I was like, "But we can lean on it if you want to stay here." And that's when she was like, "I think I want to make this my career." And we're like, "All right. Well, you've supported me through my career, right, with all the ups and downs of it. So let's do this."
And now it is your exit strategy.
And, yeah.
Like, it's not even your exit strategy; it's your strategy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it is. Yeah.
So you guys took over the box,
Yep.
and that was when he was in Colorado Springs.
It was right
Yes.
before.
Right
before.
like a month
So
or two
2022-ish. It's been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
what were,
2021.
2021.
what
Yeah,
were you
2021.
anticipating for you? I mean, you had the 2 kids. He's gone.
I honestly, I was crazy. I don't know.
And
I
the
just
kids were like 10, 6-ish around that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just had this. I knew at that point, like we had already had talks about like we're not sure if we're gonna do this whole active duty. all
Right,
the
because he
way
didn't
out.
even commit to that yet.
No. So
Yeah.
like he had committed to. Well, I mean, he had to go to Colorado Springs because it was already on the date and he had orders to go. So I was like, we'll just kind of see. At that point, he was already talking about like putting the paperwork in to start transitioning out and into the Guard. So I think knowing that was at the end of the tunnel, then I was like, okay, I think I can hold on and manage with the team that we have. And then with the, he had the flexibility to come back and forth. flying to kind of help me out whenever I needed, whenever we had, bigger things around the gym to do. But I think our constant kind of communication about just the day-to-day, if anything, it gave me more confidence in myself, because before this, like, I was a stay-at-home mom and I had little odd and end jobs here just to kind of keep me busy. But in terms of like career or like really any kind of like purpose, I didn't really have much outside of like our home. And I was just kind of like, well, what am I going to do like when the boys are older, right? And like, I don't want to just kind of sit around. And I enjoyed coaching. We had owned another gym briefly for like 2 years maybe, but we weren't super active in it. We had a partner and he kind of took over a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So my experience with that, I was like, I don't know if I, want to be a gym owner, because I was kind of going back to how that experience was, not realizing that sole ownership is a completely
Very
different
different.
realm.
So
Yeah.
different.
50-50 ownership.
Right.
So different. Yeah, yeah.
Affiliate owners, if you struggle building systems, if you struggle taking some of the things that are burdening you inside of the affiliate and handing them off to somebody so that they get done better than you, hit us up. We'd love to help you with that. One of the key things about running a highly successful box is building systems and then being able to hand them off to the team so that they get done no matter whether you're in the affiliate or you're out traveling or you're continuing your education. So hit us up. We'll help you build those systems so you can run the best box possible.
I think that's important. Like, I didn't understand that about Roz, because she has she coaches at Lifetime and she does some photography.
Mm-hmm.
And when she gets stressed about it, I'm like, don't do it. Like, but it is important.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
being a mom is part of your identity, not all of it.
Yeah.
So that was a big. Like, I was like, your job's stressing me out. Like, those 2 hours you work, and I'm like, all right, but that's important. I have got to learn that. That's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely important. I think the best thing about that decision, I still think about today, is just like watching her grow as a leader outside of our house. I trusted her with the most valuable possessions in my life, our kids, and to her, it's like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
and we're like, that's
no,
the most important thing.
That is one of the most
Yeah.
important things. So for me to go do what I have to do on a daily basis and have that ease of mind that, like, she's got everything. But for her, she was like, that's all she is. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I've only had this. I've only had that. And just hearing her talk like that, I was like, all right. So when she was like, let's go do this, I was like, if this is going to get you fulfillment, like, I'll do whatever I have to do, right, to make sure that happens. So it's like, that's when we started negotiations with the previous owner. And I was like, well, financially, it won't work unless it's this money. He's like, you're crazy. And I was like, well, it is what it is.
Affiliate
right?
owners always
And-
think their gym
and
is worth more.
And then sure enough, he came back and was like, okay, when can we make it happen? I was like, oh, crap. It's a real thing, So then
This was like 2 weeks into
Yeah.
him leaving.
yeah.
Oh,
Because
you were
ori-
in Colorado Springs at the
Yeah,
time?
because
Yeah.
originally
Yeah.
I was just going to stay back until the boys finished school, because
Yeah.
it was middle of school.
And then you were gonna go-
And they were going to
gonna
go
go.
with me. Yeah.
So we had moved out of our house. We were in an apartment because we downsized everything, and I was already getting ready to, like, all right, it was December,
yeah.
and we had like the other half of the school year. So I was like, once we're done with that, we'll go up and we'll.
So you had to buy a new house after? Or did you-
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And,
yeah.
and it's funny you say that, because, like, to me, I go downstairs to work or leave, and I come upstairs and see I'm like, I will take a job, like, over watching 2 kids. Like, your job, I always tell, like, your job is way harder. Like,
Yeah.
it never ends.
It
true.
It doesn't.
But I
Yeah.
was like, I would not, like, it is a job.
It is.
It
It
is.
is a
But
job.
I
and,
understand, like, I heard someone say, like, whatever you believe, the Bible, like, before Adam got Eve, he had a job, right? And it's like, yeah, you have to have purpose,
yeah.
right? And to us, I think, as bystanders, we're like, that is purpose.
Yeah.
But to you, you're like, get me away from these.
Well, well, that and like I do find fulfillment in being, a stay-at-home mom, and I completely understand the importance of it, and I do think that, like, not only is it like a job, because it doesn't end, but it's super important, and I feel like super blessed that I was able to not have to work and just be at home with the boys and help and like just being there for them because he wasn't able to. At least they had me, and I didn't have to go out and work, and then they're being, you know, in after school care and all of those things. So I appreciate that, and I loved the time that I got to spend. But it got to a point as I started to get a little bit older that I was like thinking about later on, and I was like, after that, and I was like, I haven't, at that point, like I had just finished going back to school, but I went back to school and I got my degree in healthcare management. But towards the end of getting that degree, I got more into the healthcare system, and I was like, this is broken. This is not, that is not fulfilling to me. I don't want to be part of that realm at all. And we were more and more into CrossFit, and I was like, this is what works. This is what's going to, you know, give me or allow me to use the knowledge that I have and all of the schooling that I went to and actually change somebody's life. It's not going to be in a clinic, and it's not going to be, you know. So after I went through all that school to get my degree, I was like, nah, I don't need that.
We've all done that. We've all been there.
Yeah.
What's something that was easier while Rickey was gone? And now, you know, maybe it's gotten easy again, but like when he first came home, you're like, yo, bro, you're messing up my flow over here.
I think it was just like our difference in like tasks. And like when he has a list of things to do, they're done quickly. Whereas I do not get it done as quickly. I get it done whenever I find time. So whenever he was gone, like laundry would take 4 days, and I was okay with it. Like I would do a load.
Just house tasks.
Just house tasks. Yeah, I would do things here and there.
13 years in the military will do that to you?
Yeah.
And then one of the biggest things, like he would come home, and now that he's home, he starts laundry at like 8 p.m. And I'm like, what are you doing?
You're not going to be able to switch to the dryer.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
but
like,
I do.
Oh,
but I do.
But I'm like,
And I
Ross
fold
yells at
it.
me. She's like, it's too noisy.
And
yeah,
I fold
but
it.
I'm like, I was going to do that tomorrow. And he's like, well, or I can just do it right now.
We're the
And I'm
opposite.
Like,
Because Roz is like that.
Yeah.
Like if I ask her something, it's a fire.
yeah.
Like I got to do it right now. I'm like, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I will get it.
Right.
Like, and I'm the same. I'm like, it's 100% going to get done.
Yeah.
It's dirty laundry.
It's, yeah. And
I can see that about Rickey though, because sometimes Rickey will be on call. He's like, I'm like, oh man, what's your
add
right
it to
now?
his list.
Yeah.
So what about at the gym?
The gym. You know, it's like, it's been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And sometimes I forget that she was in the grind for 2 years by herself, you know, and all of the things that like I really thought I wanted to do and get done. And now I have time to do it, but I was not respectful of like her time, her flow, her priority list. And it just like, sometimes it gets to the point where it's like, hey, we haven't really talked about that. It's like, yeah, no, but like I can do it. You know what I mean? And it's like not sharing that, you know, decision space with her.
That's
Not
tough.
not that it's like we would disagree on it. It's just like bringing her into the loop on like, hey, from what the direction like I want to go with this task. Like, you know, sometimes it's like, well, I didn't know about it, and I'm like, you're right, I didn't tell you. You know, so
I've experienced that with Roz, but I also experienced it. Like I don't think that's unique to being married.
Okay.
The difference is like, it's a hard line. Like partner at the business Rickey, husband Rickey.
Oh, it's
And not
very
taking
hard.
like Fern and I disagree. I'm not going home and like trying to have baby number 3 tonight
Yeah.
with Fern, right?
No, I get it. I get it.
But there are times where like I knew what was going on. I forgot to tell you. It's not even I forgot. Like
yeah,
I thought I was helping. I thought I was
That's it.
expediting this
Yeah,
thing.
That's it.
Because I don't deal with Fern as much, but like Cody and I, you didn't tell me about this. I'm like, you're right. Like I didn't think about it. It wasn't malicious. I just didn't think about
Yeah,
it.
I literally thought I was just helping. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I know all of this stuff is going on. I'll just take care of this, this, and this. And when she gets to do that and it's already done, she's like, oh. Yeah, like, it's not that I didn't need you. I literally just thought I was
thought I was
helping.
taking this-
I thought I was helping.
Have you
know?
guys listened to or read Unreasonable Hospitality?
She has
No,
it on.
I
She bought it.
But
She
yeah.
Well,
recently.
listen, there's a great part in there I think that will help is like the charitable assumption, where it's like, I assume he meant well. You know,
Yeah.
like it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Oh, yeah.
and I try that myself with like even just like daily stuff with Roz. Like, okay, assume she meant like. I never for 1 second was like Roz is trying to make my life harder.
Right.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
I know deep down, or Fern or anybody. So you have
Yeah.
to really look at it from that perspective.
Yeah,
What were some of the good? Did I help you guys at all when it came to keeping business and marriage separate?
Yeah, honestly, man. So for me, just a little
So
backstory
next
about
baby's gonna be a J.
no, so no next baby. So we're good with 2.
I know, 3 is a crazy thing, right?
Yeah,
We
3
had a
is wild.
client, he texted me in front this morning. He already had 3, and he's having twins.
Oh,
Oh my
see?
goodness. See?
And I was like, I think he said, he's like, I need to go fund me. I was like, yeah, that's crazy, dude. So anyway,
So yeah, honestly, like how we found Best Hour, right? So I was deployed to Poland.
you were following me.
Yeah, probably. Not really though. I was I was deployed to Poland, and
So you're in Poland too?
I was in Poland
You
in
weren't there?
2022. So for 9 or so months, right?
Is Poland nice?
It can be.
Kielbasa? What do you have in Poland?
People there are actually pretty nice, dude. Like, I was very surprised at just like the scenery, how well the culture there was pretty
And how
cool.
many does it take to screw in a light bulb? How many Polish people? Is it?
I don't know. All my light bulbs worked.
I'm
So yeah, just joking. Very unique deployment for us. But there was an opportunity for us to take leave in the middle of the deployment because we were in Europe, and we're like, you can bring family over. They can't come into Poland. More than likely, they'll just go into Germany, which was like a 2-hour drive for us for where we were at. And so I was like, all right, cool. So we brought her over.
Okay, I remember it.
Yeah, so we brought her over, and then we're touring together. And she's like, I found these guys, and I think you should take a listen to them. And I
You
was
found
like,
us.
I found.
she found you. And I was just like, because I'm 9-0 on business, right? I'm deployed, I'm by myself. So as soon as my day's over, I'm like on the business, searching for like mentorship, and I'm like doing things, and whether it's the lead, issue or something else, right? Always about that stuff. So then she tells me about it. We listen to her when we drive to and from like Berlin and Frankfurt and all of these other places in Germany while she's there. We're listening to y'all's podcast the whole time, okay? And we're like, this is exactly what we were just talking about. We were just talking about sales and operations and this and that, and it's like it was just like a time thing, right? It just started to marry up. Right?
Serendipitous.
So then she left, and then I went back to like podcast like 300 or so, and just started like hammering them like day in, day out at work, listening to it in the office, wherever we were at.
I'm like literally always shocked about like hearing this stuff.
This is crazy, right? And then
Yeah,
why
that's
sometimes
almost-
like on the calls we're talking, I'm like, oh, listen to podcast 309, like this and this and this, yeah. Because and you're like, you're a fan, you're like a super fan. I'm like, no, I just like watched, I just literally watched it all. So I know I was geeked out on it, and it just started making sense, and I was like, that's where we found Best Hour. So for the next like 6 months or so, I was just like binge on everything y'all did and try to implement stuff from afar. But I was like, it's great information, but the timing's not right. Something's still not clicking, right? And that's for me. I was like the affiliate you like membership, right? Where you basically customize. It's a cookie cutter approach, like in perception wise, like, oh yeah, just do this, but it's like the timing piece, like what's priority, what's everything. So that's what I was like, man, we got to sign up with these guys, and we're going to take a leap. And then the exit strategy became a thought.
I remember like
That
watching
became a
this.
thought.
Yeah.
Going down the list of everything and looking, I was like, so when I go guard, like this could make it really fast, and it could be a no joke exit strategy to where we just like get out of the military and still be perfectly fine quality of life wise. And it's because of these. So when you say, like how'd you save the marriage, like
Not
what do we do
save
now?
the
I know.
marriage. I meant
You actually said that on a podcast in front of everybody.
I did. And that was the dawn of Marriage University, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it just gave us clarity in like what we needed to work on, and it gave us a common understanding of priorities inside the business. Not by just like I think, she thinks, we think, wherever. It's like, no, experience has told us, our mentors have told us that this is priority. And once we saw that have a common understanding of the business as a whole, and like bits and pieces, and our bias was taken out of it, it was like night and day difference between that and marriage. Now the communication piece between us in a marriage like stems from like years of turmoil in the military. Not to say that like the military provided us great. Like, it provided us a life of like stability and great opportunities,
But
challenges that, you know, just like never got ever resolved. It was always coping mechanisms to like get through the next day, the next deployment, TDY, training event, whatever it was. And the communication between us is something that we just never really worked on. We just kind of like knew it was probably a problem, but not to the point where it needed to be addressed. And then when I got home,
Because by the time we didn't really have time to address it. We knew that if we ignored
like
it enough, he was going to leave again. So it was like
constant newlywed
exactly,
phase, right?
it was
Like,
like
cool.
just like come home, honeymoon,
I'm just happy you're here.
honeymoon for a month, and then see you
Yeah.
later, you know. And it just like festered over 13 years to where it was just like
So
when
we
I
did
got
save. Saving is the right word, is what you're.
again, yeah.
Baby.
So
Jay.
I think just like
Just go,
creating.
Jason. You go, Jason.
Yeah. So like
Boy or
for
girl?
her, in my opinion, for her, like the priorities in the gym and at the family were different than the priorities I thought because I was from afar. She saw it from the day to day. She had the closest.
She's
you know,
right in it.
She's right in it, and she had the best beat on the business and the best beat in the household. And from afar, again, I was trying to help, and I thought that I knew, which I did not. And then it's just like once we have that common understanding on the thing that we want to do together, which is running the business, it was just like, okay, now we're starting to move at the same pace, and it wasn't like parallel lines of effort, like not ever converging. So I think Affiliate U just really brought that convergence together like much faster than I think I could have ever imagined. And it just, yeah, for me, it's just like it gave us clarity and more than just business, but in life. Like now our priorities, and we just had a long conversation last night, and it's just like these type of events and stuff like we would have never seen ourselves at before. You know what I mean? It's like,
You
just
go to
kinda-
all of them. You've been to
We've
all
been
three.
to all of them.
Well, R2 and
Yeah,
you coming
yeah.
to Vegas?
we were just talked about it last night.
Yeah,
So
you
like
coming?
we don't know.
we haven't bought tickets yet.
We haven't bought tickets
be a-
only for the fact that like we've been to 2 this year, and like we're still needing to implement all the stuff we're learning at the 2. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So now I'm gonna put a third one on there, and like don't want
I
to
mean,
get too
it's
far
always a
behind.
great time.
But you know how
so
it is
that's
too. You
what
leave
we're like.
motivated.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought you were gonna be like, oh yeah, you told us to use Slack, and we communicate better, and then went down this like
So
entire.
we-
I know,
so we
sorry.
did.
No,
Yeah.
that's, I'm
The
so
hard-
glad to hear that. But I was like, it's nice to hear. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like I was half joking, but I'm like,
Yeah.
So the hard stop that we recently talked about when you were talking about it was
on one of
before-
our calls recently, when you
Yes.
sent me your. I saved that picture, yeah, of your
values,
notes, yeah.
One of them that we talked about was like there's a hard stop. Like once it hits 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, laptop's up or off. I'm going upstairs with the family, right? Same thing. We kind of implemented that too. It was like if we're not coaching in the evening, we're not going to the gym. We're going to spend time with the kids. We're going to do something at home. We're going to have dinner together. And then if we are coaching, as soon as we get home, like there's no more talk of the gym. Like it's just family. It's him and I talking. Took a little bit of work, but it was like
That's hard.
that was something that like we took from that call recently and like came home and implemented, which is when we wake up in the morning instead of okay, well this, and it's like nope, that's gym. We're just going to talk about us and our day and enjoy our coffee together.
Yeah, and
in
get the
the
kids ready
morning.
for school, get them to school, and then we can go to work.
Well, and you gotta.
You know.
What I realized too is like leading by example for the kids. Like your kids don't understand work screen time,
Oh yeah.
right?
no,
They're
they
just
don't.
like, you have a screen, right? And like, so I watch a lot of UFC and wrestling, and I was like, oh, my iPad's open. Like
Yeah.
that's not fair to Madison if she's not allowed to be on the,
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was a big.
That's huge.
Like it's like you guys are both, you lead by example. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to. So now, cause on that call, like I reach out to Rickey. I respect Rickey a lot, and I was like, sometimes I get on those calls and I'm like, I don't know if anyone cared what I just said. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if that mattered, and no, I appreciated what you said. You're like, it's nice to see you going through it too, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm learning along with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Awesome.
Yeah, like just seeing like that you have a lot going on. It looks like you're balancing the juggling act too.
I don't know
You
about
what I mean?
balance. I don't
And
know. A
it's
couple of
just
those
like-
balls drop once in a while.
Yeah, and I mean, as humans, we all drop balls, right? But like at the end of the day, it's just like it's cool to see like your mentors using simple tools to like balance the juggling act, because everyone, no matter how much you say that, like how much someone can say like, oh, I don't care for like, you know, to be able to do a lot and everything, like you want to be able to balance things, right? And you want to be successful, you want to balance things, and it's just like seeing other people that are like kind of like obviously levels above you and like in a similar career path possibly, and it's just like, okay, if they're at the top and they're handling like this,
Right.
what if I take
If you're
that?
referring to us, we are not at the top of it. But
Well, you know, like, I mean, y'all ran businesses longer than us, right? And CrossFit gyms, very successful gyms, and it's like, we just had the conversation yesterday, it was like, we kind of have, and it's kind of like a FOMO thing, right? Like, in a way, it's like, look what they've been able to accomplish, and like, we've only been running our gym at CrossFit Solafide for like 2 years, but we're having expectations like,
Of someone
that's been in it for
That's
way
a big
longer
thing,
than
yeah.
us. And I was like, okay, we're doing great.
Yeah.
You
Like,
are.
We just need a calm.
You're doing
yeah,
more
yeah.
than great.
Yeah, so it's just like,
Well,
yeah.
and because I told him, I was like, we preach it all the time to people who come in and they're like, oh, I want a bar muscle up. I'm like, okay, well, we have to go through these steps first.
your
Like
pull-ups.
you just started CrossFit a month ago. Like, we'll get you there, right? And I do it with nutrition too. And they're like, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds. I'm like, it's gonna be a slow process, but we're gonna get you there. But then with the business, I'm like, why are we not there yet? And I'm like, well, it's only been 2 years. Like, calm down.
Yeah, and you were gone.
Yeah, and
We've
it's
got
just
2
hard.
kids
like,
that are growing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's important. You always compare up.
Mm-hmm.
And not that you should compare down either, but you should at some point be like appreciative of where you've gotten.
Yeah.
Because we,
Yeah.
and we do the same. Like, Fern and I'll be like, why aren't we, or we'll like be at this event. Like, why is our event not bigger?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we didn't have one last year. This, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is important to recognize how far you've come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, when we started with y'all, we thought we were doing okay, right? But we didn't have that level up comparison, right? And we don't compare in the sense of like jealousy or anything like that. It's just like comparison's the thief of joy, and we truly believe that. So it's just like,
But it's also
it is,
motivating.
But it is motivating,
It's very
right? And it's inspiring to see like we can get there too, right? Because the difference between us and them is like time and opportunity, right? Like they've been put in the time and they've been given opportunities, or they put themselves in a position to have opportunities to take advantage of certain things. Our time is coming, right? We're going to put the time in and our opportunities will come. So it's just like we can get there one day, but like having those conversations sometimes, I'm just like,
It's cool that you guys have those conversations
Yeah.
together.
yeah,
It's fun,
it's
right?
like,
Patient.
yeah,
To level up
Patience.
with your. It's fun to level up with your partner, like Fern and Marcus, but it's more fun to level up with your, spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because we've never had this dynamic. He was leveling up in the military.
So
for
you were
the
leveling
past
up
12
as a
years.
mom, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think so too.
But like, I think in a sense of like how I didn't get awards, and I didn't necessarily need them, but
No,
like
but-
the showcase of it, like whenever he would get nominated for awards, or when he would come home and he would have coins, like they'd give out coins and all of these like commendment ceremonies and all of these things, like that is kind of when like the comparison comes in. And I think that's when the thoughts would kind of creep in, and it's like, well, yes, I know what I'm doing is super important and it's necessary, and there's no comparison on like he's more important than my job is or anything like that. But it's very cool now to go through this together, and we both see each other grow, and we're both like accomplishing things like together, because it was me just kind of watching him kind of exceed in his job, but now we're like exceeding and we're doing it together. So it's new to me, but it's very great to like be able to do it with him. So it's good.
Yeah, and I feel like y'all's business gives us the platform to do that in front of our kids.
So
That's the
we're
biggest
making you
thing. Oh
better
my
parents.
goodness, see. Okay,
Better
yeah,
husband, better
yeah.
parents.
Because like, I mean, hearing her say that is like, I should have made more of like an acknowledgement of like the milestones that like she's done, like celebrated her, more, and been more vocal,
Yeah, no, as she was saying that, I'm like, I need to
yeah.
remember that.
Because it's like I come home and like, yeah, business is doing good, or awards at work and all this good stuff, and it's like there's acknowledgement from someone else when you get an award, right? So it's like hearing her say that right now, I'm like, I didn't acknowledge her enough, or in public, or in front of the kids enough, to like keep that motivation alive, and that is like, hey, I'm doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Let's do it right now. What do you want? What do you? Let's acknowledge Kim on this podcast. What do you? What award would you give Kim?
Honestly, I would give her like, I mean, I don't know what kind. There's not inspirational awards or anything that I can go off of that I remember, but like, as far as like, as a person more than as a, she's gonna cry.
I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping for.
She started looking away.
That is what I'm.
Okay, so like,
Please make her cry on camera.
I would say like, if there was a confidence award or most improved award, I would definitely think that like that's how I would categorize it. Just the fact that like going from raising 2 boys without a father being around like majority of the time, and when he was present, he was not mentally present, and like being there and supportive for like an alpha male that's leading people to do a certain job, like, and then also raising his boys while he's not around is like the strongest woman like I've met, right? So my mom died obviously from cancer, so you know that, and it's just like you carry, and you've never met her, she's never met my boys, and it's just like the fact that like you can carry that kind of presence in our house is like the most like the most you could have ever done for me. It's like, without knowing her, with her characteristics or anything, but you carry her presence, and you're raising our kids just as if my mom was like around, and like would raise our kids if we weren't around, right? So it's just like the amount of strength and courage and inspiration that you give them on a daily basis, your grace with them, your grace with me is just beyond anything that I could have like ever hoped for in a wife. I know that we deal with, communication issues and stuff like that here and there, right? That's on me more than you for sure. But
definitely not.
But yeah, I just think that like the amount of growth that you've in the last 2 years from owning this gym is like seeing you step up and like lead people and have hard conversations, your interpersonal skills with other people far better than mine. And it's just like seeing you develop and feel like you have a purpose outside of the house has just made you like more beautiful, like inside and out. And it's not really an award, I guess. It's not packaged very well.
Rambling
okay.
a little bit, but
very rambling, very rambling.
And you're also the one that's crying, so which is awesome.
It's just
first male to cry in best hour.
Yeah,
Thank
there you go. Yeah, there it is.
And Fern's made a lot of fun of me. So
okay, so not which.
Hey Marcus, could you go by marriageuniversity.com, please?
Yeah,
also, do the math. April, 9 months from today is what? Maybe Jason Beasley.
Do or not?
Jason,
not
possible.
Jason
Not possible.
Beasley
Physically not
sounds
possible.
Not possible.
Oh, you did the snip
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, not possible.
That's not 100%, dude.
I mean,
You try hard enough.
No, yeah, I just.
No, that was awesome.
Sorry.
Man, that was
Definitely
courageous,
ramming.
too. That was, but that, I mean, did you ever think when you were listening to episode 300, here you would be on episode something telling
it's
your wife how amazing
is
she is?
Very humbling that, like, to be where we're at, and I just can't give kudos enough to Affiliate U, not just from, like, a modular perspective of, like, this is what you need to do to get your business, but it's just, like, relationships is, like, something that will live beyond a membership at Affiliate U. And it's just, like, how relative it is to, like, the affiliate, the CrossFit affiliate. There's no other gym in the world like it. There's no other business model in the world like it. And the people that you meet inside of an affiliate are not like anyone else in your entire life. Like, you can go to a gym, a CrossFit gym, and the amount of authenticity that's inside of those 4 walls is just, it's insane. And you can go to your 9 to 5 and not know Billy's last name, or that he has kids, or your bosses, or the person that works underneath you. You don't know anything about that. There's no sharing, it's just a 9 to 5 work job. You go to affiliate, and it's just like, there's people in there that are employees, but you won't even know it. You know what I mean? Because of the amount of care in every process inside those 4 walls. and it's just.
And I mean, and to me, it doesn't matter who you talk to. Like, even you, no, back in Poland when we were listening to y'all's podcast, like, we never would have imagined that we'd be here talking to you now, or even like under y'all's mentorship or anything like that, business wise, and then more so like personal, like just the relationships that we have with like all of you is just, you can't put any kind of price tag on that, and it's just worth so much more than like anything else that like we've done with the business. Like, it's just made it so much just worth everything for us. I think more on the personal side than really on the business. Like, yes, it's helped our business flourish, but more than anything, it's helped us flourish. And it's just great to continue to meet people in this space. The more seminars we go to and the more people we just kind of interact with, at no matter what level you're at or how long you've been doing CrossFit, like, you meet the same people who just genuinely care. And they just genuinely want you to be better. And it's like, you don't find that anywhere else. And it's great to see, like, no matter, how long you've been doing this or like what to us, yes, you're up here, like, you're top level. Like, that's how we view you because of how long you've been in the space and what you've been able to accomplish. So to us, like, we're like, yeah, like mini fanning, but it's like, it's so humbling and it's so great to know that, like, you're willing to sit here and talk about us personally and not just like, oh, how's your business going? What are your numbers look like? How have I helped you with that? It's like, how's your marriage?
Yeah, it's insane. And we're at a.
I care more about that. Like, that's, I don't, the business, like, I had to bring it up a little bit, Marcus would yell at me. Talk about Cameron and Caden for an hour.
Yeah.
Pokemon. You missed the Pokemon talk.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Ricky's getting a Pokemon neck tattoo.
Yeah. Charizard.
Charizard, whatever that is. Catch them all, Nate.
I had like one story with my kids about Pokemon cards, and it was about a Charizard card that my brothers and I were like fighting over, and we tore it in half. And then he was like, "Did you know how much that card's worth now, Dad?" And I'm like, "No." And he was like, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No way.
And I was like, and he never lets me let it down. So every time he gets something,
You did the King
like,
Midas on a Pokemon card?
Oh my god!
Like, so, you could have half. Like, that's the.
So that was my story of Pokemon to my kid, and now he thinks I love Pokemon because I had that one story. So now, like, I'm out buying Pokemon cards with him.
Does he even like Pokemon, or is he just?
Huh?
He likes it though.
Oh, he loves it.
Okay.
He loves it.
But that's what got him.
Yeah.
Because I heard someone say about their kids, it's like, it's not the Pokemon, it's that they're telling you about their life.
That's the thing. And I told her too, like, I can go outside and play sports with my kid, like my oldest, all day, every day. I have to find something that I can do with Cameron, and it's like Pokemon. So we'll go.
Sounds like Fortnite might be something you
I can't do video games for various reasons. We can talk offline for that. But yeah. So I'm like, all right, Pokemon's it. I'll go all in on Pokemon. And so we go to the GameStops together, and we go hunting for Pokemon cards for him. And like, I look at myself and I'm like, well, this is Cameron though. This is what he likes to do, and I'm here present, and I want to invest in that. So I'm a Pokemon dad now, So I watch Pokemon.
There's worse dads out there.
I watch Pokemon, where this guy's a grown man is on TV and YouTube, just opening up Pokemon packs and going. And me and him are eating breakfast together, and he's just watching this. Oh, Dad, did you see the card? I'm like, yeah.
And you know too much now. You're like, damn, I do know
so
that.
Too much. So much. So anyways, that's it though. But, yeah.
Man, no, that was so awesome. It does sound like, based on everything you just said, you should be in Vegas. Yeah, you literally were explaining why you needed to go to Vegas.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it wasn't just Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
You're welcome to come to the Dead with me and Boucher, though.
I know. I heard y'all going to
that.
we
got tickets.
It's a little.
No, but like you were saying, like, just to surround, it is only 2 months from now, but it's like that energy you get. Plus, come on, date night in Vegas?
I know.
Yeah.
When was the last time you guys were in Vegas together?
Last year.
Oh, were you? For what?
Just to go.
Well, because my brother was got a job out in the UK over in London, and he was leaving for a couple of years. So, and he probably wasn't going to come back because once they get over there, they just tour and never come back. So I was like, let's go to Vegas before you leave. And I was in Colorado living with him at the time. So we just met in Vegas for like a couple days.
I have a feeling that guy over there will have a good time in Vegas.
Marcus? I hope so.
We're surprised you're still around. Nate said you might have passed last night.
Touch and go.
Well, we do hope to see you there. This has been so fun chatting with you guys, getting to know you guys.
Yeah.
I enjoy every time you guys show up on a call.
Well, I appreciate it. We definitely
you.
enjoy all the calls and everything y'all bring to the table, and just that mindset every week. You know, that's why we try to show up to all the calls every week.
We
just
always
to make
leave
sure.
with something.
We were just saying
Yeah.
to Mitch yesterday, like, it's to no surprise the people that make the time to consistently be on the calls are the most successful. Right? 2 years later, you're still often on Mondays, but you're always on, whether small group calls or the year 2+ calls. And that's why, like, I reached out. I'm like, okay, I see you guys investing in us from a time perspective. I want to make sure we're giving you value.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We're good. I appreciate everything that y'all have done.
let's
Thank
have a
y'all
group
for having
hug.
us.
Let's have a group hug.
Let's go. I got like 2 little kids down here.
You didn't even get all of
I
us.
know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like up here out of the shot. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.